I know there's a new professional environment coming soon to Santa Barbara.
Yes, there is.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the Sky and what kind of impact it'll have on our community?
First of all, I think that USL bringing a USL championship franchise to Santa Barbara is a great move. It's a great move. We've been on hold for 3 years now, but it's a great move now that they're going to be playing hopefully in championship in the year 26, which is a great year because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
But I think that the tri-counties, I want to say the tri-counties, not just Santa Barbara County, the tri-counties.
Ventura and LA.
Yeah, I'm talking about Ventura, Santa Barbara County, and San Luis Obispo County. They're considered the tri-counties. Within driving distance to Harder Stadium, where the Santa Barbara Sky will now play their home games. I really believe that the time is right. I believe that the talent in the tri-counties is there already.
Yeah.
Maybe not to all be players from this area, but let's be realistic. Are all players that are playing for Liverpool at Liverpool, born in Liverpool? So they're not. All players playing for Man United, they're not from all Manchester. So what I'm trying to get at is, if you look at a couple of notes I made on that, first of all, it's going to open up a pathway for young, talented players from this area or any part of the world, but hopefully some local players, a chance to play. Currently, we have young players that have come out of the tri-counties, such as Julian Aranjo, who's playing at Bournemouth right now and was at Barcelona. So he's in the EPL right now. Unfortunately, he's injured. Played in Santa Barbara. You have David Ochoa from Oxnard, who at one time was even called to the Mexican national team as a goalkeeper, living here in Oxnard. And by the way, is one of our coaches on staff with the Fusion here, our academy, as a goalkeeper coach. You have Edward Delgado, who's now in his fifth year as a professional goalkeeper, playing right now at FC Naples, and is having a tremendous young goalkeeper career. So there's two goalkeepers right there that are from the 805.
Yeah.
So then you have Sergio Villalpando, who graduated, well, didn't even graduate from our academy because it's 2006, ends up with the LA Galaxy for 2 years, and now is playing for Club America, which is a three-time champion in the Mexican First Division these last 3 seasons. But he's on their roster and fighting to eventually get to the first team. So you look at that, and then you have Roro Lopez, who played for the Ventura County Fusion, played in the city of Santa Barbara, who's, I think, in his 17th year, playing in USL with the Sacramento Republic, and is just got back from an injury. So we can go on. And you got a Tony Alfaro, who right now is playing in El Paso Locomotive in the USL Championship. He's from Santa Barbara. So the talent is there. The city is ready. It's got the right stadium. It's a good stadium. So I think it's just going to open up doors for players that I just mentioned and future players. Because I think right now at Santa Barbara Soccer Academy, and I think that at the Ventura Fusions Academy, there are players right now ready to take the next step and hopefully break into a professional contract.
Yeah.
If they're given the opportunity. Not that they're all going to make it, but there's some quality young players in our community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super exciting. I think, like you said, we have enough talent to get it started.
Yeah, there's talent.
Do you think the Sky will eventually have like a youth program? Or will it be connected to Santa Barbara Soccer Club? Or will they just have their own kind of scouting department? How do you think they'll find talent?
To me, I really can't answer that question because I don't know. You don't know who's going to eventually make those decisions. If those decisions have been made, then, we would have to ask those that are going to be making those, let's just say, technical decisions when it comes to the coaching staff and how they're going to run their first team, their reserve team. Remember, USL franchises have to have let's just say, a youth development program where they have teams that are playing against reserve teams in USL.
The USL Academy teams.
Yeah. So there has to be some type of connection. Whether that's going to be Santa Barbara Soccer Club, I don't know. Only the Santa Barbara Soccer Club, board or president can eventually work that out with the Sky. But I can tell you that there are enough players, again, in the Tri-Counties to be part of that youth development program.
Yeah. I had a guy on from VCFC, the MLS Next Pro, the LA Galaxy, and I was talking to him about this new club team, this new pro team, and he said yeah, we should get like a preseason game, like some sort of beach classic, like kind of like Shield, a
Well,
little rivalry between LA and Santa Barbara, and keep it here in Ventura.
well, I think there's always going to be the importance of having rivalries, building, the derby matches. I want to see that. And I think what USL has done now, what they announced recently, is huge for the future of soccer in our country.
The promotion and relegation?
Promotion and relegation. I really would love to see that moving forward. I think it's the right move. How it's going to happen, I don't know. I'm sure they've planned and they've had their votes and they've eventually made decisions really thinking this out. But I'm a firm believer that this country is so big.
Yeah.
There are plenty of cities that would like to eventually have a franchise that is going to be part of USL, which is now going to be USL 1 eventually, right? Division 1, Championship, and I guess there's going to be 3 levels here now, right?
Yeah.
So that said, I think that there's going to be it's going to be a challenge to implement relegation, without doubt. But I think it's the right move, and I'm hoping that with time, you're going to have to play every game. It's going to mean so much. Every point is either going to win you a championship or get you into some type of a playoff, or it's going to keep you from being relegated.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I would love to see that, because every game becomes, and I'm going to say it this way, a dogfight.
I think, none of our major sports teams have promotion and relegation. I wonder if that'll really change the psyche of a soccer player's development, because it's so different.
Well, think about, the ownership of each franchise. They're going to want to put the best team out because they don't want to get relegated.
Yeah.
Think about that.
They don't want to
I'm not
lose.
saying they're not doing it now, but they're going to make sure that they select the right people to run this franchise. Because if not, from being, let's just say, in Division 1, you can be in Division 3 before you know it. I mean, you saw what happened to Wrexham, and look what's happening now. I love that. They're jumping and jumping and jumping, and they're getting up. I just want to see it. It becomes more competitive. How could you, look at a Major League Sports? You said, I don't want to go after MLS. I mean, all Major
NFL,
League Sports.
NBA.
Yeah, there's no, hell, excuse my language, but you get rewarded and sometimes get the number 1 draft pick in other sports.
You do. Because
you were one of the worst teams in the league. Why would you reward that? Where's the competition here? That's unbelievable, and I think that has to change. I don't believe in the draft. I think the draft, to me, is so unfair. You have these professional franchises in Major League Sports being able to select a player in the draft where they never invested a penny in his development. Think about that. In the rest of the world, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Doesn't happen. And I think the draft should eventually be eliminated in all sports and let the players, when they graduate out from whatever university, select the team that they would like to play with. Why should you have the rights to a college player if you never were part of his development? I don't get it. I really don't.
Do you think there's room for more development once they become professionals?
What do you mean?
Like, obviously, a rookie is going to be different than a veteran professional.
Mm-hmm.
They do develop a little bit in their professional career.
Yeah, but now let's. I'm just going to use me as an example, okay? I graduated from, let's just say, the University of Santa Barbara, where I'm from, right? And then I get drafted by, let's just say, Portland. Why should I have to go to Portland? So why not say, you know what, I want to play for this club, and I want to get representation from an agent, or I want to make direct contact with the club, and I want to try to play for that club. I think I have every right to do that. But the way the system's set in the United States doesn't allow that. Player's going to keep developing where he plays.
Yeah.
You can train as hard as you want. You can have all the training hours, all the extra work, but you eventually have to play. You have to play. So I like the fact that there's an MLS Next Academy system that is feeding, and they are feeding now players into Major League Soccer franchises. And I think that those players, should be able to select the club they go to. We have a couple of players in the Fusion and at Santa Barbara Soccer Club, getting back to the MLS franchises right now, that are now being looked at by LAFC. One player is now in Philadelphia from the Santa Barbara Academy. One's in, I think, Austin. And one right now is in Club America from the Fusion. So think about that. You have the right to move to the club that you want to.
Yeah.